Hi guys, thanks for joining me. This is just a quick bench update with regards to my Age of Sigmar figures that I'm painting, so that myself and my son can play Age of Sigmar and the various um, parts of that, for instance Path of Glory and so on. So this is what I've been working on recently. These are some figures I had up in the loft, and I decided that really, rather than having them just sat there, I might as well get on and paint them. Well, I thought it was going to be quite an easy unit to paint. I was using Games Workshop's rattle can, which is Mephisto red, but when I actually did the spray on it, the red wasn't very solid. It seemed a bit powdery, so I had to go over all the figures with Mephisto red from the pot, and then it was just basically following Duncan's suggestion on Warhammer TV of how to paint bloodletter flesh. The swords are finished. Apathetic Fish also did a video on painting bloodletters, and so I've done the swords as he suggested. The basing on these is a basing technique that I've used since doing my Lord of the Rings figures. All the bad guys, if you like, are in this dark brown, and it just gives an idea of desolation and corruption, basically. So there's no real life in the soil. So a unit of 10 there. I'm hoping to have a unit of 30, and there will be other figures added. I have got 10 more bloodletters, and I've got the blood throne that I can do as well, and then I need to get started set. So when I mentioned the bases were in like that brown to give an idea of desolation, we'll just move on to a couple of the Sylvaneth figures that I've well, one is finished, the other one I've just got to add a bit more to. So that's these two figures here. So we've got Draika Hamadreth, and we've got a Branch Witch. Now what I tried to do with the bases on these is, you can see that it's partially green and partially brown. I was trying to give basically, that's the impression that the Sylvaneth are taking back territory, and as they're moving across the territory, the spirit song that they're singing is basically bringing life back into the earth. And so I wanted to give this variation between the two colours, and just to give that impression. Draika's just going to have one or two small animals added to her base, and I must admit, I've just remembered the Branch Witch has also going to have a small creature added to her base as well. So my first two Sylvaneth figures really that are ready for the tabletop. I've managed to paint up 30 dryads, but I've got to base them all, and then I've got to paint up another 30 dryads and another Branch Witch. So the other figure I've been working on is something to add to my Ogres, and he's over here. So this is an Ogre Butcher. I think I made a mistake buying this figure, because although you can buy another figure that's slightly more expensive, but it's the same points in the actual game, and it does a lot more damage. It's a butcher figure, but he's got a great cauldron, and his fists are basically at the end of him. He's just got two choppers. He's lost his hands, and he's quite bad in close combat, whereas this one only gets 2 attacks. So I may have to get the other figure as well and paint that one up. Quite enjoy painting this guy. In fact, I've got to be honest, I've been enjoying painting figures this last couple of weeks. This one I managed to get done in a day, but then I was at the desk for about 5 hours because family and wife were quite happy doing their thing. So he needs basing, and he'll get the brown basing again that the bloodletters had. Um, so that is the figures that I've managed to get painted up. Um, I am trying to help my son with some of his stuff, and I'll just get some of that now. So as you can see in the box here, quite a few figures that I've made up for him, and he wanted a different colour scheme because I think he's getting a bit cheesed off with the Liberator Gold and the blue pattern on the normal Stormcast Eternals, because the blue, trying to get that in between some of the small detail, I think he's doing his nut. So what we saw in Games Workshop Birmingham was like this silver lead belcher finish, which was then covered in a Nuln oil and then highlighted. And what he can do is basically, oh sorry about the light there, is basically pick out the shoulder pads around the edge of the shoulder pad. Perhaps that'll be easier for him. So there's that. So they take quite a bit of time to put together, and there's another unit I've done for him of 10 figures, castigators. Now I think they've got 9 parts each, and for the younger generation, I just think that's a bit of a ball ache, to be honest, to just get those put together. I'm glad they're creating some of these more easy build figures in the range. So I've been spending a lot of time putting these together for him. He still really hasn't got the inkling to paint them, which is a bit frustrating, but that's up to him. We'll still play. I'm still determined to play with him, whether his figures are painted or not. Back to myself, some more figures I've been doing for myself. So we have some Slave to Darkness Chaos Knights. Now I've been thinking about getting Slave to Darkness for some time, because when I used to play Games Workshop some 28 years ago, I had a Chaos Army which was Chaos Warriors, Chaos Knights, and I just thought it'd be great to have them again. So I managed to get 1,000 points, and it didn't work out too bad at all. I think it was about £100 with the boxings that I bought. It may have been slightly less. I think I may have been able to do, rather than buying 2 starter sets, I think I was able to make it slightly cheaper. There's a figure missing from these because I forgot to spray the actual figure. The horse is done, but the figure still needs doing. So the Slaves to Darkness army, that's going to have 15 Chaos Warriors, 5 Knights, 2 Gore Chariots, Chaos Sorcerer, and I converted one of the Chaos Warriors into my Chaos Lord, and I'll just quickly show you that. So here he is. Funnily, his head looks a bit like Darth Maul. So this is one of the Chaos Warriors from the Chaos Warrior box set. They give you 16 figures, but you can only have them in multiples of 5 in the game. So rather than spending £15 on a Chaos Lord figure, I decided to just convert myself one. The sword he's holding, the blade on it, is from one of the Bloodletters. I think I will have a spare one in the Blood Throne if I make it a skull cannon. So I just put that on there, and then the only thing I had to do, because of the description, was put another sword behind him. So this is like a demonic blade, and that's like Chaos Warrior blade. But yeah, that was just a very easy conversion, simple conversion, and saved me £15. So that's why I was able to make this 1,000-point army cheaper than buying 2 box sets. So that's basically the update for the Age of Sigmar. I know that I said that we would be starting to play. Sorry guys, the camera's going out of focus. Let's go back to home address. I know that I said there would be we would start playing Kill Team, but to be honest with you, um, we seem to have gone down the path of Age of Sigmar for the moment. I am looking to get some smaller games together, so Kill Team, for instance, possibly Path of Glory for Age of Sigmar, and there's also the skirmish that you can do for Age of Sigmar as well. So, but I'm really enjoying painting figures again, and that is possibly why I'm not progressing on other stuff, and that will be in the next video. Thanks ever so much for watching, guys, and hopefully I'll catch up with you soon.